Welcome, you join me back in the shed on a very hot, sweaty, humid evening, and I'm going to be cracking on with the DIY cheapo, El Cheapo budget airbox removal kind of thing on the car Bonnie. Yeah, wasn't quite happy with the performance. There was a few like kind of bits in the possibly in the jetting and the setting up that just weren't quite right. And rather than spend loads of time trying to sort that out with the airbox on, only to a couple of weeks later completely change it all over again, I've decided to just crack on with that and get it done. So here we go. And there's a few things I've got to sort of sort out as well, that aren't immediately apparent. Yeah, I reckon it should all go okay. Let's show you where we're at and we'll get cracking. Okay then, so here we go. I've already taken the tank, the seat, the rear mudguard off, shocks, dropped the wheel down just to make my life easier for getting the old airbox out. Doesn't take long to get to this stage, and it just saves, the airbox will then just drop out rather than having to wrestle it out and risk damaging anything. So I couldn't remember if I brought you up to speed with the box. Now that's chopped, got rid of the mouldings, given it a few coats of tough black just to spruce her up. Obviously I chopped off that bottom section here as well, so I'm going to have to make up a plate or something to go here just to give us a bit of protection on the back, because obviously that's going to send all the crap up that way. So I kind of don't want that. It is a lovely look to have it all open, but this is a all-weather, all-year bike, so I do need a little bit of protection. So that's on the cards. The carb, like the rubbers to the head. I was getting a little bit of what would you call it, like popping back and blow back, if you like, out of this side, almost where like the exhaust gases come out here, and I was suspected, as it's a 16-year-old bike, maybe they've perished, and certainly because I've had these carbs on and off a few times, they're just not resealing properly, and indeed when I took them off, that one was dry rotted, cracked up. That one wasn't much better, so I've ordered a couple of new ones. I've got to say, Fowler's in Bristol, put in the Triumph part, which I'm trying to remember if anyone's interested, but put that into Google and a few places will come up. Oh, there we go. That's any help to anyone? Yeah, they I've got to say, Fowler's from Bristol, the cheaper than Triumph World by a fair bit actually, almost half the price for the same part, and I ordered them in the afternoon and they were there the following morning, so got to give Fowler's a thumbs up for that one. Well done you. So yeah, they're on, and I guess we're ready to start playing around now. I've also stripped these down in preparation for what I think I'll be very lucky if it's going to be straight in and working this well with the setup, but the kind of general wealth of information you can get seems to be towards in terms of jetting. Sorry, I'm sort of been in here a bit too long now, getting a bit sweaty and not speaking straight. But the jetting in here, I've gone for a single shim on the needles. I've gone for a 140 main jet, 42 pilot, and I've gone for 2 3/4 turns out on the pilot screw as well. So that seems to be, for open exhausts and airbox removed, seems to be the kind of happy figure. There will probably be tweaking around that just to get it right, depending on everything, but so they're set up like that at the moment, and we'll see how they go. And yeah, so what have I got to do before I can just get stuck in? Obviously need to make up some sort of brackets and stuff to hold. We've got the fuse box, the brake fluid, 2 relays and a starter solenoid to go on here. So quite where I'm going to stick those, need to work that out, work out the bracketry, and also obviously with the airbox here and just the filters on, they're loose. You can't just leave your carbs hanging like that. There's a bit too much weight, so I need to make a sort of brace. Some of the kits will come with a brace, and they usually go from the sort of frame bracket bolt here and go down, just hook onto the back of the carb here, just to provide some support. I mean, they're fairly sturdy on there, but you don't really want all the weight just being on these rubbers here. So obviously, because this is a DIY kit, hasn't come with one, so I'm going to have to make one. So I've had a scrummage around, got a bit of alloy there, so that might do the job. And so I need to just sketch out how it's gonna work, and then cut it out really and get that sorted. So let's transform this into a bracket. Okay, so that's where we're at now. So I'm just marking out the lines here, going to cut those out, so that's what we'll just slide over that like that, and then I can mark out exactly where I want. There we go. That's the hook side cut out. Obviously it'll be on the other side of the frame here, but just for illustrative purposes, that'll hook on there. So I'll make a little kind of, I'm not going to just do one hole on this side, I'll do a sort of a slot, so I can, you can sort of adjust exactly, how tight it's going to go on there, because there's going to be a slight variation in the angle. But yeah, it's getting there. 3 holes, just flatten those bits off now, make them a nice oval, and then tidy up this end here. Right, there we go, it's finished. Slightly different. That was the original one I was working on, which was quite thin, but I've decided that's probably a little bit flimsy, so I've got some slightly beefier stuff here. So I've just pretty much copied the same dimensions, just recut it out again, spent some time cleaning it up, and yeah, stick it on. Let's have a look. There we go, support brace in, and I've got to say that is absolutely rock solid. They are not moving at all. Let's try and get you around this side. Picking up. So there we go. So yeah, I mean, I could do some, it's a little bit ugly, it's not the greatest bracket, but then having said that, the tank's going to be covering it, so I don't want to spend too much time on this trying to make a pretty bracket. I mean, it might look nice with holes and stuff in it, but let's crack on with the main bit of the job. I mean, it's neat, it's tidy, it's beef, so yeah, I think that'll do the job. Let's crack on with this bit. This is what might end up being the bracket to hold the fuse box. A little bit rough and ready at the moment, but bear with me, and you'll see what I've got in mind. Okay, so here's the plan. Obviously not going to be this shape, but I will contour it and make it much nicer. But obviously the holes on the side of the fuse box are wider than the battery box, so I'll need to just taper them in, but just something to mount that a bit lower down there. And yeah, it's clear in my head. Right, there we go, she's done. That's that bolted on, holding the fuse box, and that's nice and sturdy. That's only held on with 2 bolts finger tight at the moment, but that is pretty beef, so I'm not too worried about that going anywhere. Obviously it'll be kind of covered, but might as well make it look nice. But yeah, that'll do the job. Couple of minor concerns as I'm sort of working it out as I go along. Hopefully I'll have enough, oh, it's hard to see actually here, but that is just slightly proud of the flush line down there, which I completely forgot about when I was sketching the shape of that out. But I mean, if it means that this back plate that I'm going to have attached to here only comes out that far, then so be it. That'll protect the back of the fuse box, and that's just, yeah, that'll be fine. And the other one is I haven't got much wiggle room with the bolts. The ones on there, as you see, are fairly, oops, where are we? There we go, low down on there. There's enough room for me to maybe put a little riser block in the bottom there to keep the battery just up a touch, so it's not sort of against those bolts there. It just kind of just touches as you're trying to go down, but there's enough sort of wiggle room on the side, if that makes sense. Yeah, that can all we can sort out. But I mean, that's quite an old, huge battery. I might even invest in a smaller battery at some point. But yeah, kill beans. Right, well, and that's the brake reservoir bolted on. Pretty much the same principle. Just used the old bracket as well, just to stand it off a little bit as well. In an ideal world, be a bit easier to get to the fuse box. Brake line's in the way, but I gotta work with what I got. It's a freebie one, so just have to suck it and see. But otherwise, that's pretty happy. And yeah, that's that side sorted out in terms of mounting stuff. So just the other side. Okay, admittedly not the most skilled bit of engineering, but cable tyre armour, just a few holes drilled in, and that's held all those bits up there. I might relocate the relays to underneath here or behind the board or plate that I'm going to do to go behind there at some point, but I'm running out of time to get that done at the moment. So I'm going to call the DIY Airbox removal kit done on that sense. Obviously got to just put everything back together and give it a test ride, see if it's all jetted up and running nicely. I might add that on a little bit later. I'll film it when that's happening. But got a few other things I've done in the meantime as well. Let's see. Well, there's an exhaust change that I've made. I have actually been running with these for a few days beforehand. Some slash cuts there, which I'm quite liking. They sound quite nice. I've just got to make up some nicer brackets for them. There they are. I bent those ones up just to get them to fit, but they're not the most attractive looking. But I've still got a soft spot for the little cut off end ones, those up there. So yeah, so I'm not sure yet. I'll see which ones sound and they run the best with, and that'll pretty much make that decision for me. And you knew it was coming, a bar change. So I'll just put these on now. I've gone for the LSL now, do a aluminium 1-inch street bar low, so the same, but I know I wanted these two different, but I do like these bars, so I've gone for the street bar lows on there. Kind of twofold really. Ordering these at the start of the month. I'm trying to give up smoking again, so I'm spending cigarette money on stuff to keep me off the ciggies. So tattoos and motorcycle bits, pretty much. No different to before, but I can just afford to get a few more bits. So that's why I figured I'd buy some handlebars, keep me off the ciggies. So yeah, I just love the position of those. I really do like them. The drag bars were those cheap set of 14 quid ones off Fleabay, starting to show rust pitting already, so they can go. And I just inked in the Triumph on there whilst I was at it. But yeah, there we go. Right, I'll get this all back together again, and then hopefully next thing you'll hear is this running. Before I do, almost forgot, I need to put clamps on there obviously, but also the crankcase breather. See, that was the pipe, I don't know where to put it, there we go. That used to go in there and then up to the airbox. Obviously don't need that anymore, so what I'm going to do is just chop it off there, have it going up that way, and stick the filter on the end. The old Brillo pad one that comes with this one, not the nicest one. I do prefer the little smaller one that I put on that bike, but hey ho, again, all freebies in it. So yeah, I've just got to stick that on. just the baffles out of the little short tip exhausts, kind of just for my interest, just to see what all three sound like next to each other. Not a massive difference in performance in running all three versions of those, so it's yeah, didn't really feel that different. I mean, the camera, the mic on the camera phone isn't going to give you a very good representation of what it sounds like, but there you go, just for shits and giggles really. So that's it, yeah, bit of DIY airbox removal there. Hope you enjoyed it, and catch you next time.